Very, thank you very much, Andre. Okay, hello everybody. It's a great pleasure to be able to speak in front of such big audience, and I welcome everybody from all over the world. Before I start my presentation, I would like to introduce myself briefly. Well, my name is Michaela Gorisch, but you can call me Michaela, it's easier to pronounce. I'm the managing director of GmbH Sprachenwelt, and our main focus is on mechanical engineering, automotive industry, medical technology, and marketing. We are using not all, but the common CAD tools such as Strada Studio, a cross-language server, Transit NXT, and Manukio. And our core business is technical translations, terminology work, transcreation, and audiovisual translations, including subtitling and video editing. My presentation is called Generic Engines on the Test Bench. First of all, I will tell you something about our experience, to what extent machine translation is used in practice at all. Then I will talk about the advantages of generic engines and thus come to an essential question, followed by a test phase of 3 generic engines up to the evaluation of the test phase and its results. And finally, the resulting measures we have taken. Machine translation was born around the 1940s. In 2006, Google Translate was launched, but not until neural machine engines were developed in 2016. The topic of machine translation really became interesting. Before that, people had always to smile at the output. But since 2016, the quality of machine translation had been steadily improving. And nowadays, the internet is full of essays, papers, advertisements, research reports on that topic. But we ask ourselves, how does the industry or the possible potential users react to machine translation? From our experience, I can say that customers are still very cautious about machine translation. We asked a lot of companies and possible answers to that question, how do you think about machine translation? There were machine translations are out of the question for our company. Quality, which includes consistency and the same writing style, terminology, this is really important to us. Another answer was, we are interested in machine translation because it allows us to reduce our translation costs. However, we would like to receive top quality. And another answer was, we are interested in machine translation because the only thing that counts for us is the price. We can't judge the quality of translations anyway, and we do not get feedback from our clients either. And the main thing is that it is translated. In our company, 95% of our customers are not interested in machine translation at that point. But what is the reason? Why does not everybody use machine translation? As these engines are trained with a large data of different domains, are offered as a cloud solution, so it's easy to connect to and it's very easy accessible. You can connect them to CAD tools. They offer translations at the push of a button, so immediately, and the price of raw translations is unbeatable. Therefore, we ask ourselves, is the quality that is considered to be at first glance, which is considered as good at the first glance, is it really sufficient, and will the desired cost reduction and the time savings be achieved despite the high quality requirements? And are there perhaps other reasons why machine translations involves high post-editing efforts? For that reason, we launched in 2020 a test phase of 3 generic engines. The engines we selected were DeepL, Google Translate, and RWS Language Cloud. Only those languages were examined in which the generic engines had already been sufficiently trained. And the translation projects were created in the CAT tools with pre-translation based on translation memories. And then the second step, we hooked up the generic engines with a setting to translate only the segment if no match was found in the translation memory. This ensured that specific translation memory was always given priority. And only those segments that did not show a match with the TM, we used a match rate lower than 75%. They were filled with the generic engines. And after that, we had to deal with which categories we wanted to assess and how we wanted to grade the outcome, without letting the translators to determine from their guts, well, this is a 1, very good, and this is a 5, poor. We first determined the evaluation categories. A, meaning, style, text flow, and completeness. B, grammar and mechanics. C, localization and style of target language. And D, terminology. And for the evaluation, we used the school grading system, 1, very good, up to 5, poor. And we defined exactly which performance corresponds to which grade. And here you can see some types of errors we were able to collect during the test phase. First, one type of error was incorrect interpretations of the source text. Well, incorrect interpretations of the source text led to mistranslation. This happens very often when the sentence is out of context or not clearly formulated, or is written in nested sentences, which you can see very often, for example, in the German language. Then formal and colloquial form. The engine does not recognize which form to use. The engines, they always tend to use the polite form. Then texts were partially translated word by word. This happens when the engine does not have the correct term at that point and needs to be trained better. Then inconsistencies in the use of the imperative. This leads to context errors. And I have here a nice example for you. Well, this is a good example for those people who can understand German. Here you see, choose the envelope, wählen Sie den Umschlag, and open the envelope, den Umschlag öffnen. There you see it's the first, it's an imperative and the second not. But speaking of imperative, what we also notice very often is that technical writers, they often switch back and forth between the imperative infinitive and the imperative U form in a text, and which of course also causes inconsistencies in the target text. Now we come to omissions. Well, this is poor or misleading source text, such as incorrect sentence structure or spelling mistakes or unknown words. And then error in the source text. Well, they are translated by an engine without comment. When you are using a human translator, he or she will give you a feedback on that, or will ask a question. What's going on? There must be something wrong. So, but from an engine, you do not get a feedback. So, and now user interfaces, we noticed that they were not translated, tabs, they were ignored or doubled, inconsistencies with generic engines, inconsistent translations occur at the term, phrase, and sentence levels. And the same applies to capitalization rules. And syntax, the engine makes clear violations of sentence structure rules. And another mistake is context. An engine cannot distinguish between call to action, headlines, and captions. Yeah, and last but not least, terminology. And terms are, as well, a lot of people know, terms are not are used incorrectly and inconsistently. And here you see now the result of our test phase. And the result clearly shows that the category A, style, meaning, cohesion, and completeness, and the category D, terminology, performed the worst. Therefore, we focused on two measures. First, we wanted to improve the terminology. For that reason, we trained a specialized engine for mechanical engineering. And the advantage of a specialized engine is that it has a better linguistic quality. You have more control over terminology and writing style. and you only cover a certain subject area, and therefore the engine is limited in its freedom of choice. And if the engine does not yet have a certain term or words or phrases, this can be solved by additional training. If you decide to use a generic engine, you should discuss with the client the purpose for which the translation is intended to be. And after the pre-translation by the generic engine, you have to check what level of post-editing is necessary. In our company, we have decided on 4 levels, whereby the level 4, what you can see here, corresponds to a new translation by a human translator in terms of time and effort and price. Well, level 1 is spelling and grammar in the target text. Level 2, spelling and grammar in the target text plus insurance of congruence between source and target. Level 3, spelling and grammar in target text, insurance of congruence between source and target, plus check of terminological correctness and consistency within the target text. And last but not least, level 4, there is also added additionally the adjustment of style in the target text. Okay, and last but not least, we decided to give training to our end customers on how to improve the source text by means of TM and machine translation friendly writing. I will not get in detail on this subject because Shazia, she will report on this in course of the tech talk. For that reason, you get there more information. So now I already reached the end, and I hope you were able to pick up some ideas, and I'm also looking forward to your experiences, what experience you made with your customers, what feedback they give you regarding machine translation and generic engines, and in what extent machine translation is used in your company. Yes. So thank you very much. And Andre.
Yes, Michaela, thank you very much for this presentation.